Hello, welcome to this web demonstration of our Tech.x Microsoft Word S1000D Data Module Converter. My name is Jake Memory. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration. I'm going to try and run through this as fast as possible. The reason being I've already done two videos showing you and demonstrating how the tool works, both of which are a bit on the long side. So I'm going to try and keep this fairly short and sweet, and if there are any questions you can contact me. I can give you a live web demonstration on some of your own content, or you can download a trial version of this from the website, which I'll give you a link to below. So upon installation of the tool, you will have a new Tech.x folder within your Documents folder on your PC. Within that are 5 subfolders, most of which we don't care about for the minute, but there are 2 that I'll just point out. The first one being the output folder. This is where your data modules will be saved upon running the tool. As you can see, obviously nothing there at the minute. And the other one is the DMRL folder. Upon installation, you will get a DMRL template which you can use. I have pre-populated this with a few dummy data modules which correspond to the data in the Word document that we'll go through in a second. Now the tool uses an XML version of the DMRL, so this one is obviously an Excel version, so all we need to do is save this as XML before we start anything. So if I save that as XML, save that, continue. Okay, we can now close that, and that's ready for the tool to use. And there we have our XML version. Okay, so to the document itself. So the document I'm going to use is a sample of an entire maintenance manual from Diamond Aircraft. This was just pulled directly from their website in a PDF format, which I've then back converted to Word. This one hasn't come across too badly, fortunately. I've had to do very little in the way of cleanup. As I'm sure you're aware, when you back convert any PDF to Word document, it can be fairly messy, to say the least. This one's not come across too badly. So again, upon installation of the Tech.x tool, we've now got an additional tab up here on our ribbon. So if we click on Word to S1000D, we will see a new action pane appear on the right hand side, which contains all the tools that we're going to use to convert this document into data modules. First thing we need to do is choose which schema we want to convert to. So we can currently convert Word to S1000D issue 2.3 or issue 4.2. Now, we can choose this now or later, it doesn't really matter. In fact, you can convert to both if you wish. You can run it once for 2.3 and then again for 4.2. There's no real reason why you'd want to do that, but the point being that you don't have to make the decision right now. We can do either or both. The next thing is to select the DMRL file, which we've just saved as XML. There it is, so we'll select that. Okay, and we're ready to start going through our document, preparing it for the conversion process. Now the way in which this works is now we have we've chosen the Word to S1000D button here. What that's done is given us 27 new styles to choose from. They all start with S1000D to make things easier and clearer. So up here S1000D ignore, right the way down through to S1000D close up requirements and everything in between. So we've got some styles for descriptive content and some styles for procedural content. So all we're going to do is run down through the document. First of all, we're going to tell the tool whereabouts our data modules start and finish. So to do that, we just highlight the text for our first data module. So let's come down through here. So that's the start and the end. We'll double click on DM container. That then opens up a representation of our DMRL. So this first one is standard practices airframe talk values, and it's a descriptive module. And I'll click select. What that will do is it wraps the content then within these tags, showing us the tech name and info name and the DMC. You'll see at the start there's a D. That denotes that it is a descriptive schema. If it were a P, it would denote that it is a procedural schema. So we can either go down through the rest of the Word document, wrapping the contents in the data module containers, or we can start applying the styles to this particular container. I think what I'll do, I'll just run down through this one first, applying the styles within the container. So, given that this is essentially the title of this particular container, we don't necessarily want that as our tech name or info name, so we can effectively just ignore that portion of text, meaning that that will be completely ignored by the tool and it will not be reflected in the output. So anywhere we've got portions of text that we don't want to appear in our data module, we can just apply the S1000D ignore style. So from here on, this would be a S1000D para0 title. This would just be standard para text. As with this, this is a note. This would be para0 title. This would be para text. This is a random list. Para text, random list. Okay, we'll go with the para0 title there. That is a table title. Now, tables we don't have to worry about. We can just leave those alone. They will automatically be converted to the Oasis CALS format, suitable for our S1000D data modules. So we can ignore that first table, come down to the second one, give it a table title. Again, ignore the table. Table title, we can ignore the table. Let's give that a para0 title and a table title. Para0 title, and this is just standard paragraph text, and that's our first one done. So let's move on to this one. Again, we're just going to highlight the text. There's a couple of graphics here as well, which is good. That's the end of that one, so we can just do the same as before. Just double click the DM container, it opens up our DMRL, interior placards and markings, descriptive, select. Again, that wraps that for us in the DM container, and we'll do the same again. We can ignore that. We can give that para0 title, para text, para0 title, para text, para text. Graphics, much like tables, we can completely ignore. They will be automatically saved for us in a TIFF format and imported into the module. It will write the graphic entity references into the module for us as well. All we need to do is state that that is a figure title. Again, we can forget the graphic, give that a figure title. And again, forget the graphic and give that figure title. Again, that data module is done for us. So we can do the same again with this one. I'm going to try and run through this one a little bit quicker. So this is instrument and control panels general description, descriptive, select. Okay, again we can ignore that title. Para0, para text. Let's tell it that is a random list. Para text. All of this is just standard paragraph text. Para0, again, paragraph text. And that is a figure title. Same again with this one, so let's run down through this one. This one's a little bit more involved, but no problem. Electrical power, general description, yes, again, this is a descriptive. We will get onto a procedural in just a second. So again, ignore. paragraph text, a couple of notes. Para 0, let's give this subpara 1. Let's go subpara 2 for that one. This is just standard paragraph text. Random list. Subpara 2. Para text. Subpara 2. Para text. Subpara 2. Para text. And again, rand list. Excuse me. Paragraph text, random list. So as you can see, you can go down through this quite quickly once you get the hang of it. So para 2, para text. Okay, a table title, and again we can just forget the table, that will come across automatically for us, and that one is done. Okay, let's do the procedural module. So let's highlight the procedure. There's 2 procedural modules here to do in fact. DM container, this is rudder controls, adjust, procedural module, select. Again, we can ignore that because that will be taken care of by our tech name and info name, which comes from our DMRL. There's a couple of warnings. In fact, what we'll do, so given that these 2 warnings are relating to the whole procedure, these would normally come in the safety conditions right at the top of the procedural data module. So we can tell it that these 2 warnings are safety conditions by wrapping all of that within a safety conditions tag by double-clicking safety conditions. We want to tell it that they are warnings. Okay, now we don't really want that heading to come across, so we can ignore that. Much like this, we don't want that to come across. That will be pretty much auto-generated within the data module, whether it be an IETP or a PDF that you're generating. The headings like that will come across, will be auto-generated. Now we have 2 pieces of support equipment here, so what we can do, we can say that's a support equipment item, as is that. And then what we can do, we can say that that is the name, nomenclature, that is quantity, and what we're saying is this is, there's no part number, just commercially available, and the same with this one, nomenclature, quantity, and part number. Okay, so let's tag up the rest of the procedure. So that will be a step title. These 2 will be step 1s. And that will be a warning. And I think the rest of these are all step 1s. So we can just highlight all of the text and apply step 1. Okay, last procedure. Same method, double click DM container, we'll select the last data module. It's a procedural schema that we're looking for. And same applies, we don't want that. General, let's give that a step title, we'll give this a step 1. This will be a rand list. Step title, step 1. Step title, let's give these 2 warnings. Step 1, I think we'll give these step 2s. Step 1, step 1. Step title, they're both step 1s, we'll give these step 2s. Step title, step 1. And I think we will give that rand list. step 1 and step 2. Okay, and I think that's it for the tagging up. So what's going to happen now is we will hit the run button in a minute, and what that will do, it will go through an initial validation process within each of the data module containers, making sure that we have applied the styles in the correct places within the container. As you know, S1000D is extremely strict on how elements are nested within the data modules. Therefore, if we apply styles in the wrong places, given the fact that styles are directly linked to their corresponding element, if we've applied styles in the wrong places, it won't build, and it will build, but it won't parse when we open it in an XML editor, and it validates against the schema. So let's hit the run button now and see what happens. So it goes through each data module in turn, and it's told us that all of them have successfully validated, which is good. Now what I will do, just for demonstration purposes, I will put a deliberate error in just so we can see what happens. So if I cancel that, come out of here. Now what can I do here? So let's put a subpara 3 title in here. So we've gone from a subpara 0, we've got some text, and we go straight into a subpara 3, which obviously we can't have. If we hit run again, it tells us there are validation errors. Let's have a look and see what the error was. Subpara 3 title requested before subpara 2 title. Make sure that you have a subpara 2 title first. And it's failed the validation. So if I come out of there, as you can see, it's highlighted in red where the problem is. So all we have to do is put that back to a subpara 0. And the next time we run it, it's successfully parsed that time. Okay, right, let's run it one more time and we will generate the data modules. So we're choosing 2.3 as the output schema. Hit run. Okay, so when I hit OK this time, it will go through a separate set of checks and it will start to build each data module, each container, bit by bit. And the output window here, the validation log, will tell us which part it's writing as it's going. So it tells us it's writing notes and graphics, and it tells us finally that it successfully built 6 out of 6 data modules. And we can have a slightly closer look at some of these messages. So the validation log up here, as we know, they all validated. So we clicked OK to start building the data modules. And it tells us one by one it's building this data module with this tech name and info name. It tells us converting any xrefs, crossrefs into data module references. Into the correct xref elements. Now we didn't actually apply any xrefs within the Word document, but there is the facility to do that. We can apply figure references, table references, within the Word stage, so they'll come across directly into the data module. It tells us it's creating random lists, converting tables into the cows format, and it tells us it's writing the XML to the data module templates, and the same for each. Now, as I say, it's successfully built 6 out of 6. So if we close this, we can then go to the output folder that we looked at earlier. And here are our data modules. So let's have a look at one. Let's open one up. So as you can see, it's populated the data module code up here. This information is taken directly from our DMRL, populated the tech name and info name, and here is all of our data. And there's the table, as we suggested before. It brings across the tables. We don't have to do anything with those. It's giving us our para 0 titles, table titles. Let's close this down and try another one. Same again, populated the DMC, tech name, info name. Here's all of our content, 2 notes, everything correctly nested. Subpara 2 titles, and our table again. Let's have a look at one of the procedures. In fact, let's have a look at this other descriptive that's got some graphics in. So if we open that, okay, and there's our graphics. They've been pulled across for us. Now the chances are you'll probably want to convert these graphics into a CGM format or some other format, but the fact they've been pulled across just demonstrates just how easy it is. Okay, let's have a look at the procedures. And there's our two pieces of support equipment in here that we tagged up. There's our safety conditions that have gone in. And here is our procedure. Now, obviously it's brought across some of this automatic numbering that was in the Word document, so what we will need to do as part of the cleanup process is just to go through and remove some of these numbers, because obviously our numbers are auto-generated. Okay, save that. Let's have a look at the final 920, the remove install. And again, that's come across for us. There's some minor clean-up work to do, possibly, again with the numbering. But ultimately, it has brought our content across from our Word document and built an XML data module. So I hope that's given you a bit of a brief overview of what the tool can do. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. And I can provide you with either a live web demo or a trial license to give it a go for yourself. Thanks a lot. Cheers, guys.